I'm author Tim Brown of the book Uncommon Athletes and Boys Won't Be Boys. And also we do a mentoring program at South Mifflin Elementary School. And so today I'm excited to talk to Roy Hall from the Driven Foundation, a good friend, great friend, who's been doing mentoring in the community for a number of years after he completed his career in the NFL and playing for Ohio State. And I invited Roy to come and speak on the importance of mentoring, one, and two, why mentoring is so important today in our community. But first off, Roy, welcome to the show. And you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background?
Yeah, Mr. Brown, thank you so much for the opportunity to hop on. You do such a great job connecting to young men and also connecting to their parents. And so I've learned a lot from you over the last 10 or so years in regards to, most importantly, stay consistent and stay available. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of programs have come and gone since you started on your journey, specifically from an uncommon standpoint. And I'm just thankful and blessed to be able to kind of watch you grow and maneuver and really evolve, because a lot of men often use the excuse of age, or they don't have the time now. And maybe, the mentoring part is a young person's game. But you've kind of changed that narrative. So I'm just thankful to be on the call, man, and to join you and to lean on you for just your structure and to see where you've come from. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm happy to be here. And short about me, I am the executive director of the Driven Foundation. We are a nonprofit organization that actually I'm one of the co-founders as well with another former Buckeye, Antonio Smith. And we started in 2009, and we're still plugging away. We actually were still playing in the NFL at the time when we decided to use our platform to make a difference and use it for purpose. And the way I like to say it is you want to use your position to help reposition those in need. And so we've been able to do that with a lot of programs that we do. But this particular season is really about mentoring and the development of young men. And we're proud to be able to offer that up as well through Driven.
Can you talk about maybe some of your experiences growing up, maybe someone who kind of mentored you and kind of inspired you to what you do for others?
Yeah, a lot of the responsibility of the mentor comes, it's the word men is in the word mentor, but comes from the men that are in your life. And so football coaches, basketball coaches were the first ones to be able to offer that up to me. I was raised by my mom. And so since my dad wasn't around, you don't necessarily know what you need as a young person. You just know you're missing something. And it wasn't until I got on an athletic team, on a football team, that I realized that the discipline and responsibility and the tough love to develop growth comes from those people who really love you. And when you're being corrected, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. And so being on an athletic team and getting mentors, even if I was calling them coach, they were still giving me what a mentor would give me, and giving me wisdom and knowledge and opening my eyes and exposing me to things that I needed to be able to go where I wanted to go in life. And so those coaches were the ones that played the mentorship role to me. And then as you get older, you realize that a mentor doesn't necessarily mean that it's somebody 30 or 40 years older than you. You can have a mentor and they could be a couple years older than you. Again, this is about growth and making sure you're equipping people with what they need to get to where they want to be.
Speaking of that, what are some things that you see in mentoring young men today that guys are missing that they need, so to speak? What gap do you see your mentoring program filling?
One of the biggest things is how to handle when things don't go your way, right? I think for young people, they want something a certain way. And even for adults, they want it a certain way and they want it right now. And they don't know how to respond when they can't get what they want when they want it. And so working through how to respond to adversity is the biggest thing. How to respond to failure, how to respond when the word no gets told to you by your mom or your dad or somebody that, you know, you expected to give you what you wanted. That piece right there in itself is a huge piece, but then also just the work that it actually takes to be successful, and then defining what it means to be successful. It doesn't necessarily mean a certain amount of money that you make, and it doesn't necessarily mean a certain job title, but actually getting young men to carve out what they want, and understanding that to get to what they want, because usually they always pick greatness. Nobody ever says, I want to be average, right? But they always say, hey, I want to be great, or I want to go to the NBA, I want to go to the NFL. And they always throw those things out there, but they're not willing to put in the work to actually get there. And so the issue then becomes, how do you take them from knowing what they want, but not willing to do it? And how do you bridge that gap? The problem is that video games allow somebody to go to the NBA without having to put in the real work. And so they think they could just go outside and just hop on the court and get after it, when it's not as easy as learning how to play a PS4 or Xbox and teaching them how to put in the work. So those are kind of two areas that we focus on when we're doing our development piece, is just giving the kids the tools necessary, and building their mindset and that mental toughness to be able to accomplish their goals and dreams.
That's great. Can you give me one practical thing that you guys do to help guys with that? What's a practical thing?
So one of the things is we have what we call a win the day calendar, or win the day calendar. As a matter of fact, let's see if I might be able to pull it up actually while I'm on the call. No, one of the things that we do, and I know for if somebody's watching, they may be able to see it, but I can show that right there. So win the day calendar. And so it's a blank calendar that we put out, and on, you know, we kind of give some instructions, but what we do is we have our young men list out 2 or 3 things that they have to get accomplished that day to win the day. And those 2 or 3 things can be related to whatever they so choose to. Now, for example, they may have been saying, hey, man, I need to call my grandma today. Well, you've been wanting to call your grandmother for the last 2 weeks. You just haven't gotten to it. And so what does it say that you can't take 5 minutes to call your grandmother, or to call your coach and say thank you, or to actually do your homework? That might be something that you need to do to win the day. But you pick those 3 things and you write them down. If you get those 3 things accomplished in the span of 24 hours, you win the day. If just even one of those things don't get done, you lose the day. And so the whole objective is to go an entire month and come out at around 90%. 90% on any grading scale is always an A. Right. So if you come out at 90% after your 30 days, which would be 27 or so out of 30, you win the month. But if you can win each day by doing things that are going to help you get better, now all of a sudden we can start to make some progression. So if it's important to you to become an NBA ball player, on your win the day calendar for a week straight or a month straight, it may be work on my ball handling skills in my garage for 30 minutes every morning before school starts. Now, every day you might write down work on ball handling for 30 minutes. Now, if you don't do that, then you lose the day. And so you get to choose. And so I like putting the responsibility on the kids versus saying, hey, go out and be great. Well, no, in order to be successful, you need to take responsibility for what you're doing with your time. So if you got 24 hours in a day and it only takes you 15 minutes to shoot, 100 free throws, I'm using basketball as an example, but if it takes you 15 minutes to shoot 50 free throws, you need to write, I need to shoot 50 free throws every day, right? And so if you do that every single day, you can get some progression. But most of these kids think this stuff should just be given to them. Like, no, it's your responsibility to make sure you do what you need to do with your time.
That's powerful. I like that. Speak to men who want to be mentors. I know in your program, you look for volunteer mentors. What kind of qualities do you look for in a man that wants to be a mentor?
this is one that hopefully doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. But if I'm being honest,
Yeah.
we get a lot of men, and I hear it in conversation, because in the rallies about what's wrong with our youth, and the conventions about what we need to do for our youth, you'll have maximum capacity. I mean, people will come out, 500 people in a room, 250 people in a room, 1,000 people in a room, really good men, successful men with wisdom to give. And the narrative will always be the same. We need to do more for our men. We need to do more for our young men. We need to give more time for our young men. And then when you have individuals like yourself who will start programs that need mentors, nobody is available.
Mm.
Nobody is available. And if you go from 500 people that are on fire who want to serve and help young people, or you have 500 men in a room that have gotten on social media and talked about racism and talked about injustice and what we can do, and we're talking too much and what more can we do, but nobody has time. Nobody has the time. And so if you are a man with or without kids, because just being around you, I know that you've raised more than the kids that you've had. You have time to add at least one other young man to your family. Now, he might not be at dinner every day, and he might not go on the family trips or go to the vacation home, but you can at least add one other young person to your family to be able to help develop that person. And if you don't have at least one other person that you're helping to raise, right, you're doing our young people a disservice. And I don't believe that you're fully utilizing the gifts that God gave you to be able to give to young people. And so the biggest thing and the biggest message that I want to convey to men is you have to make it a priority to include and to add and to bring young people with you. It is not their responsibility for them to come find you, because they don't know what they're looking for.
Right.
They have no idea what they need in a mentor or a male figure in their lives. So it's your responsibility and our responsibility to go find them. And so when you're talking about mentorship programs and mentoring, it's our responsibility to get the young people involved. We got to go find them and get them involved. If it was a young person that said they wanted to be the next great NFL player, the very first thing we would do is put them on a football team. And so if we're saying that young people need mentors, our job is to go find the kids that don't even know they need it and pull them and put them on a mentorship team or in a mentorship program. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to invest. We need to invest, right? Because I know everybody loves LeBron, the NBA Finals. Everybody's going to watch Cam Newton with the Patriots, and we're setting up and going to Buffalo Wild Wings and playing fantasy football as grown men with our friends. But what if we just took some of that money and actually invested in a young person participating on a team that's building leadership and mentorship capabilities? So getting them involved and then investing are two huge things that most men, or many men, I don't say most, many men that I've met aren't willing to do because it makes them uncomfortable. It makes them uncomfortable. So since they have to put in this work in the beginning, they're like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can commit the time. But if I had some free tickets to an Ohio State football game or to see a Lakers game when they play the Cavaliers and LeBron's coming back to town, you would drive up to Cleveland. If you're in Columbus or wherever it may be, you would go to that game and spend 6 hours there, right? And so I believe in my heart that we have to make more of a priority and be consistent at being available. Most of our young men are used to men not having time for them. And that needs to change, and it needs to change immediately. So the characteristics that I look for are just that: people that are available, people that are consistent, and people that are committed for the long haul, because it takes more than just showing up to one mentorship session.
That's powerful. That's an awesome challenge to men. And I want to bring it home looking at, I invest because I'm looking towards the future. Recognize what you just said. If you invest in one young man can change the impact of his whole family. You've done that in your family, not growing up with a dad or whatnot, in your household. I've done that in my family, and that's that commitment. But even in that, I've done it for my children. But by doing it for my children, always others are going to come along. Like I said, that other one's going to come along, and that one's going to become 2 or 3. I think about you with your son, Caleb. When you're doing something with Caleb, I'm sure Caleb's friends are right there, right there with you. So it's not just about ourselves, and it's not about us anyway, It's about investing in young people. And at the end of the day, it's about investing in young people for Jesus, for what God, both of us are Christians and believers, what Jesus did for us, how dare us not do something for somebody else, along the way, and we'll be rewarded for that. So I appreciate your time. And that's a powerful challenge, a powerful word. And you want to tell people about how they can get involved with the Driven Foundation?
If you just want to serve in the community, and I appreciate that, Mr. Brown, well said, as always. If you want to participate from a serving standpoint and just get an opportunity to get out and give back. I mean, just a week ago, over the weekend, we were able to pack 420 backpacks full of school supplies and masks and all those things necessary to function in society these days. And we hand delivered them to 420 students on the south side of Columbus. And so we had a group of about 50 volunteers that came out to do that. If you want opportunities like that, you can visit staydriven.org and touch base there. But if you want to be involved with our leadership development program, our leadership program for young men, that information is on the website as well. But specifically, you can go to boysahreleaders.com and check that out. But that's pretty much it, man. We've been working really hard, but I just encourage people to make it a priority to get out and to serve.
Well, thank you for your time. I always appreciate your words of encouragement to me. You young guys keep me young. You keep me going at it, knowing that, and we know that the future is bright no matter what the world says. There's some great young men out there, and like you said, it's our job to find them, invest in them, and just and watch them grow. And find men. All right. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me today.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brown.